Ethan Carter was born in the dry edge of Arizona in a forgotten desert town where the wind carried dust instead of dreams. The houses stood far apart, small and quiet, like they were hiding from the sun. Most people worked on small farms or scrapyards and lived day to day without any big hopes. Ethan was different from the day he came into the world. He couldn't walk properly. His right leg was weak and shaky. Doctors said he might never run, never climb, never live like other kids. But Ethan was a quiet fighter. He never cried about it. He learned to move slowly with a crutch, dragging his right foot behind him. His mother would always say, "Son, the world gave you weak legs, but maybe it gave you something stronger elsewhere." But kids in the town didn't see that. They saw only a crippled boy. They laughed when he walked. They whispered when he passed by. They never invited him to games because he would slow everyone down. Ethan didn't fight back. He simply watched them with calm eyes and went home. Inside that small house, made of clay bricks and patched-up windows, Ethan had something the other kids didn't. He loved to open broken radios, old fans, and cracked toys to see the gears inside. His father owned a tiny scrap shed behind the house. Every day after school, Ethan would sit in the dust and study old machines like they were books. One evening, Ethan found something interesting. A rusted metal bird with broken wings. It was a toy someone had thrown away, but to Ethan, it was a puzzle waiting to be solved. His father laughed softly. "That thing hasn't flown in many years." Ethan smiled. "I'll make it fly again." The next 3 days, Ethan worked quietly. He cleaned, rewired, rebuilt, and soldered pieces of metal he found in old boxes. His hands were slow, just like his legs, but they were steady. When he finally finished, he placed the toy on the ground, pressed a switch, and stepped back. The tiny metal bird fluttered. It shook, and then, almost magically, it lifted 3 inches into the air before dropping again. Ethan let out a small breath of joy. His father stared wide-eyed. "You did that?" he whispered. "You really did." That was the first time Ethan felt like he had wings of his own. Not on his legs, but in his mind. Ethan became obsessed with anything that could fly. He collected discarded motors, cardboard pieces, screws, wires, anything people threw away. He read old library books about airplanes and wind currents. He watched videos about engineering on a second-hand tablet someone had gifted his mom. But dreams don't grow easily in a town where people stop dreaming. People called Ethan strange. Some said he was wasting time. Others told him, "Boy, you can't even walk properly. How will you ever build something that flies?" His father sometimes felt torn. "Ethan, I want you to dream, but I don't want you to get hurt." Ethan just smiled. "I can't run, Dad, so let me fly." One day, the school announced a science competition. Whoever won would get a scholarship to a summer engineering camp in Phoenix, a place Ethan had only seen in books. Kids laughed when they saw Ethan sign up. "What will you make? A flying crutch? Maybe a bird that limps like you?" Ethan didn't fight back. He simply went home and quietly told his father, "I want to build a real flying machine." His father froze. "A real one? Ethan, that's hard. You don't have the tools or the parts. Ethan nodded. I know, but I have time, and I have you, and I have my mind. So they started together. For 2 months, they collected scrap, shaped wood, bent wires, tested small propellers, and learned about aerodynamics. Some nights, Ethan worked until his hands shook from exhaustion. His leg hurt so much he cried alone on the floor, but he never quit. His father would often sit beside him and say, "You may walk slow, but your dreams run fast." On the day of the competition, the gym was full of colorful projects. Robots, volcano models, solar cars. Ethan walked inside with his crutch and a box in his hand. Kids stared. Some giggled. Look, the cripple brought trash. Ethan ignored them. He placed his project on the table and uncovered it. A small glider made of scrap metal, cardboard wings, and a handmade electric motor. It looked rough, but it carried Ethan's soul in every bolt. When the judges came, they asked, "Ethan, what inspired you to build this?" He looked up softly and said, "I can't run. Maybe I never will. But I wanted to know what it feels like to fly. So I built something that can—" The gym fell silent. Ethan placed the glider on the launch ramp he made. He turned on the motor. The wings vibrated. The machine hummed. Then, with a gentle push, it sailed into the air. Not for 1 second, not for 2 seconds, but for 13 full seconds, long enough for the whole gym to gasp. Kids who once laughed now stared in disbelief. Teachers covered their mouths. Judges whispered to each other. Ethan had made scrap fly. He won the competition. A month later, Ethan attended the engineering camp in Phoenix. For the first time in his life, he wasn't the slowest, the weakest, or the strangest. He was the smartest one in the room. His mentors were amazed. This boy learns faster than anyone we've seen. He sees things others miss. He's not limited. He's gifted. Ethan built a drone prototype. Then he built a mini wind turbine. Then he built a lightweight wing structure for gliders. Kids respected him. Teachers admired him. Ethan finally felt like he belonged somewhere. Years passed. Ethan earned a scholarship to an engineering academy, then a university, then a special research lab for aeronautics. He walked slowly, but his ideas flew faster than everyone else's. One day, he returned to his small desert town, now a grown man with a limp but a powerful mind. Children gathered around him curious. "Is it true?" one boy asked. "You made things that fly." Ethan smiled. "Yes, and I can teach you how." He opened a workshop in the very same scrap shed where he once worked as a child. He taught kids about engineering, creativity, and believing in themselves. He helped them build kites, drones, small gliders, and wind machines. People no longer called him the crippled boy. They called him the man who gave the desert wings. And every time Ethan stood in the desert wind, watching a child's glider rise into the sky, he whispered the same words to himself. "My legs never learned to run, but my mind learned to fly."